I'm very delighted to be part of this journey. Why am I delighted to be part of this journey? For just obvious reasons and simple reasons. And many of them which have been explained by the Managing Director of ZESCO when he was here, that have been presented to us in the video that we have shown in terms of the direction that ZESCO wants to take in the next few years, and that direction that they want to take in terms of their new vision, which is going to make them to become a hub for electricity trading, by 2025. Because if we say we want to become a hub for electricity trading by 2025, there are certain fundamental things that the organization is supposed to do. And I think in recognition of that fact, I want to applaud and I want to thank ZESCO, because as a parastatal, it is also easier for them to say, why don't we just accept the status quo? And that accepting of the status quo is one that does not address the fundamental things that we as government, we want them to do. As you are aware, colleagues, when we talk about the industrialization and job creation strategy in this country, there is nothing that we can achieve as a government without having an important institution like ZESCO that is going to power Zambia. And through powering Zambia, it creates industry for us, it creates job for us. So it is an important institution, and the journey that they have begun, in which they are challenging their strategy going forward, is an important journey. And this is why I said I'm very delighted to be part of this journey. Because the fundamental institutional arrangement in which ZESCO has existed over many, many years ago, it has changed. Of course, we recognize ZESCO is a parastatal, but the question is the environment in which ZESCO is operating the same? The answer is no. Because for many years, ZESCO has been a parastatal, and if you look at their business model, it has remained a vertically integrated model. It means ZESCO is generating power, they are transmitting that power, they are distributing the power, and they are supplying the power. So one of the strategic challenges that I have going forward, given that government began a journey of deregulating the environment within the electricity subsector, is that we have got independent power producers that have come on the market. And the question is, those independent power producers who have come on the market, as we go on with the deregulation environment, ZESCO is going to have so many players on the market. And if they don't start questioning the environment in which they exist today, then it will be very difficult for ZESCO, despite that at the moment they are a monopoly, but they might be able to lose that monopoly because of the new players who are coming on the market. So it is important for the corporate management team, in realizing this, that they needed to think about the performance management system, because it is only the performance management system, and depending on how that performance management system is designed to realign with their vision, that ZESCO would be able to address the many challenges that our customers have. The simple example Director HR gave here is, we were being asked when we had an energy in the Lusaka province today by one of the district commissioners to say, sir, we are applied and we have not received the invoice yet. So these are retro things that affect our customers. And these are the retro things that we need to address going forward. Today, if you look at ZESCO, their customer base is only 850,000 customers. The population for Zambia is around 15 million. So the customer base that ZESCO has is not significant enough for them to make significant revenues. And if ZESCO's cash flows are not good enough, ZESCO is not able to invest in their generation, ZESCO is not able to invest in their transmission, ZESCO is not able to invest in their distribution lines. And the performance management system, through the balance scorecard that ZESCO is designing, is an important organization tool that is going to address a number of fundamental things. An organization that does not invest in its modernization and optimization of the key pillars that the MD spoke about. You have a pillar of your people. The people are a key success factor to any organization. If you don't address it, you don't reward them properly, you don't have a system that retains them, you don't have a system that capacitates them, then obvious, those employees are going to look elsewhere. They are not going to look at ZESCO as one of their places where they want to stay. They go and look for another organization. So I'm very grateful that ZESCO, despite being a parastatal, they have challenged their strategic direction going forward, that they need to invest in the balanced scorecard. And the balanced scorecard is going to do a lot of fundamental things for the institution. Because if, like Victor said, the MD, an employee just comes and he counts for what I can call presenteeism. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing that word correctly, where I'm just present. What you do in the 8 hours, nobody knows. The organization is not going to be productive. But if I'm challenged that within the 8 hours, my friend, I'm not going to produce, a blank check to pay you. I need to make money to pay you. And I give you the targets which you are supposed to achieve. Then you as my worker, within the 8 hours, you know that these are my targets. And many of the organizations, the success story of most of the multinational organizations has been premised on managing the organization behavior of their employees, because it's fundamental. And the simple way you manage the organization behavior of your employees is through a performance management system. Because the director of HRI, she's just one person in ZESCO. To what extent can she go around the organization to whip people? What time have you reported? What have you done today? But if you give employees their key performance indicators, then the energy of that employee, the energy of the institution in which that employee works, they are going to rally them behind the targets that have been set by that institution. And to set those targets for an employee, the organization must have institutional targets that are cascaded downwards within the organization. And I think the journey of the balanced scorecard is to address, number one, the institutional framework in terms of the vision for ZESCO, like we have seen there, being a hub for power trading by 2025, making us to live a better life. These are key fundamentals that they are trying to address. But these fundamental things can only be addressed if ZESCO accepts, like they are accepting, a journey of undertaking organization renewal. Because it is through this organization renewal that ZESCO is going to achieve all the key parameters that they have set for themselves. Because like I said, the environment in which ZESCO has operated for many years is slowly changing. And if you listen from what Director HRI said, the government's platform going forward is to ensure that there is competition in the electricity subsector. When that competition comes in the electricity subsector, ZESCO is not going to be the only player in the electricity subsector. There will be other players. So how do they then compete with the other players in the sector? And the only way we can give you as our customers a cheaper service delivery is by ensuring that the electricity subsector is opened up. Today, even when you hear of Mamba have come on board, ZESCO, they are the ones who are the off-taker of the power. So it is important that as we embark this journey, Mr. Victor Mdende, the MD for ZESCO and your corporate management team, and our being here this evening, colleagues, it is just the beginning of your journey. Tougher times as we implement this balanced scorecard lies ahead of it. There will be resistance within the organization because people have been used to coming just to register their present within the organization. The trade unions will have their own issues, probably in the manner the balance code is going to be implemented. But I want to appeal to my colleagues from the trade unions that this is an important tool for you to assess the productivity of your institution. For you even to have a framework in which to go and bargain with the corporate management team, because it would be able to show you how the productivity of the institution is. But without having an instrument like this one, on what basis are you going to negotiate with your corporate management team? Because they'll even just tell you, my friend, look, we didn't make a profit. So on what basis? But the balance scorecard will go a long way in terms of giving information to everybody that belongs to ZESCO, including the shareholders of ZESCO. We as the shareholders, our primary goal is to ensure that ZESCO, like Victor said, does not always come to the Minister of Energy so that he can go and speak to his colleague at the Ministry of Finance for the Ministry of Finance to give a subsidy to ZESCO. We want ZESCO, which is financially and operational sustainable, but in ZESCO becoming operational and financially sustainable, this is a very generic term. They need to embark on a journey in terms of addressing some of the shortcomings of their strategy. And what they are doing today is to address that strategy. But with that, colleagues, the support of the union, the support of the employees, the support of the management team, the support of the shareholders, the support of our stakeholders that have come, this balanced scorecard will have just wasted our time to come and be here. So one of my requests, colleagues, is that let's support ZESCO as they begin this journey of renewing their institutional framework, as they begin this journey of renewing their organization as they begin a journey of looking at the history where ZESCO has come from, as they begin a journey of challenging the status quo in which they have existed. Let's support them. And colleagues, for me speaking as your minister, I'm one person who wants to be associated with performance results. I'm one person who attaches a sense of urgency to what I do in my life. And I want to, especially Director of HRA, and who's the project person for this project, that the tougher times, especially for you, my friend, as Director HRA, they lie ahead of you. But you need to have the courage, you need to have the strength with your management team to ensure that the balanced scorecard that you start implementing, you implement it to its logical conclusion, because that is what is going to make ZESCO a different institution from the other parastatals. But if you want to accept the status quo and say no, because we are a parastatal, we would go and ask the Minister of Finance to give us subsidies. That concept, colleagues, is no longer there. Today, if you look at many of the Chinese companies that we are using in this country in terms of construction, name it, these are parastatal companies from China, and they compete amongst themselves heavily. They can even take each other to court. Why? Because they want to post a dividend to their shareholders, and their shareholder is the government. ZESCO can make a lot of money. If you had all the generation projects that we want to invest in as a country as part of our policy going forward, these are projects like the Batoka Gosh, 2,400 megawatts. The hydro sites on the Ropra River, 1,200 megawatts. The Kalungu is being sponsored by the private developers, 240 megawatts. These are key projects, and these projects, if you don't have a way of managing your people, instead of you caning them, instead of you following them, will not be able to achieve it. Today we want to become a power trade. How are we going to become a power trade? We need to invest in our transmission lines. If ZESCO, you don't manage your employees well, will not be able to achieve that vision, will not be able to achieve that ambition. So colleagues, in short, all I want to say is I'm very grateful to be part of this institutional renewal that ZESCO has begun. The organization renewal is important for me as a Minister of Energy. If you look at the power deficit that we have gone through since 2015, it challenges us. And the challenge that it poses to us is that, what have we done as a country through ZESCO? And the answer, colleagues, is with yourselves. As a country, we failed to make fundamental decisions, and those decisions we were supposed to invest. From 1976 until 2012, that's when we invested in a 1 mega plant in Shwangan. What can a 1 mega plant do? Lusaka province alone consumes 560 megawatts. Victor, because he didn't know what to do with his colleagues, they go and develop a 1 megawatt in Shwangan. That tells us of our failure. But today, Victor is challenging the institution to which it belongs, and which is very good. There are very few managing directors who can challenge the environment in which they have operated. There are very few directors who challenge the environment in which they operate. They would rather want to remain with the status quo. And you know what status quo does? It doesn't distress you. But today, Vic and his colleagues, they have accepted the stress management going forward because they have to manage it. The unions will be on them saying, we don't like this. It is not working for our people. Why is it that our people are not being given an increment? So they have just begun a very tougher time for them. But I believe with unity of purpose within ZESCO and with all the stakeholders that support ZESCO, we should be able to implement the balanced scorecard without difficulties. But again, my appeal to you, Victor, is that the institution that you're running is a very sensitive institution. You need to engage with your trade unions. You need to sensitize them on the importance of the balanced scorecard. Because once we have people that buy in the change process, then the level of resistance for change would be very minimal. Immediately they are not brought on board, the resistance will be too high.